Welcome to the Profit Share Mastery Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Pres McKissack.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Profit Share Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Pres McKissack.
And I'm Linda McKissack.
Hey, Linda. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How are you doing?
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are in the world.
Great. Life in Montana is good. It's going to be 60 degrees here today. So,
oh, man.
Snow all around, but 60 degrees. That's kind of crazy.
Well, there's nothing like the Montana house, although the beach house is also equally nice.
Yes. All homes that Profit Share built, hence why we have this conversation every single month around the 21st of the month, right? Because we want other people to get Profit Share and to be able to have experiences and places that their families can have great, unique experiences and freedoms and all the beautiful liberties that true passive income brings somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, today, Linda, what I was really wanting to talk about today was the idea and the concept that we have a fundamental flaw in real estate. And so our topic today is really going to center around what that fundamental flaw is and talk about how we compensate for the flaw we have, right? So let's take a second. Let's kind of outline what I mean by that. In real estate, we have a fundamental flaw, and that is that we are in a pitch business. What I mean by that is there is no recurring revenue in this industry. You make money when you pitch, meaning you make money when you sell a house. When you work with a buyer, you work with a seller. There is no guaranteed income next month. There is no compounding effect necessarily of recurring revenue. Now, at the same time, you know, we've all listened to Gary Keller, and we know he says to build a database because at the end of the day, the only asset we own truly is our database. And that does give us the ability to market to that database, to serve that database, and be able to at least more accurately predict our income based on the size and the quality of that database. However, outside of that, we really have no recurring revenue. And Linda, one of the things I think is interesting, if you were to go sell a business, you would, one of the first questions that someone who is looking at, you know, like a business broker who helps you buy and sell businesses, one of the first questions they would ask you is, what is your business's MRR? And MRR stands for monthly recurring revenue. And obviously in real estate, we would have to say we have no monthly recurring revenue. And businesses that don't have a monthly recurring revenue have a significantly lower multiple on those businesses because there is no ability to project out what you're going to make next year based on the current revenue, monthly recurring revenue you have right now.
Yep.
So when you think about that, Linda, what are some of the things that first come to mind when you think about the flaw we have in this industry?
Well, I think first of all, Pres, it's a flaw in a lot of industries, but I think in Keller Williams, we actually have a solution. Not people don't take advantage of it, but we actually have a solution, unlike other industries who have that problem, but no solution for their agents. And so, you know, I would say that for one thing. And then the second thing I would say is one of the benefits I think of owning our own tech is there might be a way to eventually, if you have a great database of whether it's potential people that want to get their real estate license or people who potentially want to buy or sell, that database would be someone you could create a reoccurring revenue from.
That's you know, when you think about the home ownership experience, right? I remember early on when Gary was talking about this concept of building our own tech platform. You know, Gary's a visionary. He's able to see way in front of the curve. And one of the things I remember hearing him as he was thinking through and going down the path of potential opportunities with this was the idea of agents potentially having the ability to monetize their database by providing a home ownership experience where homeowners would come to the agent to get all the services and vendors they needed for different things around their house, and could potentially pay them some sort of monthly fee to be able to do that. And so, yeah, I think you're right. I think owning your own tech and does give you a very much competitive advantage in thinking about how the future of this industry could look different especially with so much change going on in our industry right now.
Yeah. Well, just the thought of that, Press, first of all, being a realtor for almost 40 years, I've never had my own realtor until we came up here to Montana. And I can't tell you every resource that I've gotten from Eric. I teased him the other day and said, I'm so happy to have my own realtor. I've never had my own realtor. I've always been the realtor. But I've gone to him for my trainer. I've gone to him for my maintenance. I've gone to him for massage people. I've gone to him for everything. And there's no reason in the world why eventually that couldn't be some way that maybe those people pay a referral fee or whatever to him, and that becomes a recurring revenue or something. I don't know. But yeah, yes, we definitely, that is a problem. And since you and I have kind of moved and dabbled in that world a little bit, we see the benefits of having some kind of system that allow you to do that.
Yeah. And I want to make sure I heard you correctly, Linda. You said you went to Eric for a referral for a massage person, not to get a massage from your realtor, right?
Right. No, my realtor did not give me a massage. He gave me a referral because it's so funny. He's the only person I know. Well, when I first moved up here and we used a Keller Williams agent, of course, I called and found who the top KW agent was. And, he became my realtor, which again, I've never had my own realtor. I've been the realtor, but he's the only one that I know knows who everybody is and who's the best and who should I use and all of those things. So yeah, he did not give me a massage. He had a referral of someone.
That's good. That's good to know. I don't know, he might be multi-talented. So that's good. Well, and I want to clarify something I said earlier. We do have a fundamental flaw in this industry, and yet we have the best industry there is. So I want to make sure it's really clear. We are in the best industry for making money and serving people and all the things we provide and service we deliver to consumers and clients. And at the same time, if we don't do things different, we will look up one day, Linda, and we say this all the time. We call it the Realtor Dilemma. You will look up one day and realize that the day you sold your last house was the last dollar you've ever made in this industry. And so the question becomes, how do I build monthly recurring revenue into my world? Because if you don't have, what's amazing about monthly recurring revenue, Linda, is it compounds itself. The work you do this month compounds into the next month, and then the work you do that month compounds into the next month. And, I hear I've got some people that I follow that have big businesses who have monthly recurring revenue, and they will tell you about the idea of waking up, pulling out their phone and realizing before they even got out of bed, they have this huge check that showed up in their business account of monthly recurring revenue. And if they don't want to work that day, they don't have to. Right. So it really provides more freedom and options, which I know everyone, especially those who are listening to this podcast, really care about those things. So then the question becomes, Linda, how would you advise agents, because you're the person in KW that gets the most calls, for those who don't have freedom and options, what do they need to do to go build monthly recurring revenue and really solve the flaw we have in our businesses?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people waking up right now, Press, today in this industry this year going, wow, I wish I had focused on creating some more recurring revenue, passive income type things earlier, because they would not feel the pressure that some agents are feeling right now, right? It feels different when you've got multiple streams of income coming in instead of if you've got one and some outside, force causes that to change, then you're looking up and going, wow, I wish I had paid more attention. So I would say, number one, it starts with a focus of that. I think you can get anything in the world you want once you decide what that is. And then the first question you should ask yourself is, because nobody succeeds alone, who's the person who's done it that I could learn from? And how do I get in relationship with them? And sometimes that means, you pay for it. Sometimes that means you join something they're in. Sometimes that means you get creative in other ways to do it, but you got to get in front of that person that can teach you how to do it. Because that teaching is leverage and will get you there a lot faster. But I think anything in the world, once you decide, so I think you have to decide that this is important. And then number two, you have to figure out how am I going to focus on this?
I love that. Something you said made me think about I think it was a podcast episode I listened to a couple weeks ago. This guy was talking about how he was in a mastermind group, and it was an expensive mastermind. I think it was like $25,000 a year to be in that room. And there was another guy in the room, and the other guy in the room clearly didn't have the business to the level that the rest of the people were, yet he was in a room with 25,000. And so he got to talking to him. He's like, how did, like, how are you here? Like, how'd you get in this room, basically? And the guy said, well, what I've learned is to be in the rooms you need to be in, there's two ways you can do it. Number one, you can earn your way in, and that takes time. Or number two, you can buy your way in. And he said, what I did is I went to people in my world and I said, hey, we all need to be a part of this mastermind groups where the best ideas are being shared. If you'll give me X amount of dollars, I will, if each of you give me X amount of dollars, I will go and bring you back everything I learned in all my notes. And he got people to do that. And so he got self-funded to get into a room that he wasn't yet qualified to be into. And I just love that. When you said that about being in there, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I just love that idea. You can either earn your way in, which takes time, or you can buy your way in, which you can go faster.
Yeah. Oh,
but I
so
think,
true.
isn't that good?
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
that reminds me of a interview Dana and I did this week on our podcast. The guy wrote the book. It went straight to a bestseller. It's called One Jordan. And what he does is he sends people that he wants to have a relationship with who have accomplished what he wants to accomplish. And he knows that they like Jordan shoes. He sends them one shoe with a note that says, for a 15-minute Zoom, I'll send you the other shoe.
love that.
Creative, right? It's creative. And I think that's the first thing that has to happen is you got to find the people who have created what you want to create and figure out how to get in the room with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, you got a couple options when you think about MRR, monthly recurring revenue. The two best routes that everyone, especially those in KW, however, just in real estate in general, should be thinking about is number one, real estate, rental properties, right? To build recurring revenue. And the second route would be profit share. And obviously this is the profit share podcast. So that's the side we're going to focus and talk on around this idea. And so one of the things that has always stuck with me, Linda, that you taught me early on is don't spend your career at KW walking over dollars to get to dimes. Meaning two things that jump out to me. Number one, you have a choice. You can be in KW and you can be an agent and you can sell houses. And then at the end of your time, you're going to hang your hat and you're going to walk off into the sunset and you'll have nothing to show for it other than whatever money you've saved up in your time. Or you can do the same business. And in my case, Linda, I truly believe that some people who actually build their profit share can build better businesses, bigger businesses, because of what they learn on the journey to build their profit share at the same time. You can get purposeful and you can also build your profit share along the way. And when you hang your hat up, it's because you want to. It's because you have the freedom and ability to do that because you've built passive income up to give you flexibility and options along the way. And I just think that really, that's the first thing. The second thing that comes to mind, Linda, is too many people jump around from place to place. They think the pastures are always greener. And that I always love, this is super corny, but I always love the grass is greener where you water it. That is 100% true. And so for those who are in KW, make the commitment to be here. Take advantage of the opportunities you have, like profit share, but choose to be here. Be here for a career, because what can happen when you look at Linda's life, what our family has done with profit share. Ann and I have passed over 100,000 in lifetime profit share. You guys have passed over 16 million. Your number is just a little bit bigger than Ann and I's, not much, but a little bit. And it's because you watered the grass where you were. You took advantage of the opportunities you had in this company.
Yeah. I just was the other day at a KW office and the person seemed so hungry to learn, how to get more business and everything. And I asked probably 3 questions about stuff that's free inside of KW. They didn't know it, they didn't understand it, and they hadn't utilized it. That is a perfect example of somebody inside KW who's not utilizing KW, right? And I wanted to say, gosh, the answers are there. They're everywhere. You just have to want what you want bad enough to go figure out how to go figure out where they are and find them, you know? And so I don't know, I'm just always so shocked at the people that they don't use anything that we have. And I just don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, I think in a lot of cases, Linda, everything starts with, we've talked about this before, but everything starts with the mindset shift that, you know, when I go out to market centers and I'm talking with agents, one of the things I like to ask them if I'm talking around profit share is, how many of you were an agent somewhere else? And a lot of the hands will go up. I'm like, do you remember what it was like being over there where it was kind of like, imagine in your brain, you're on one side of the fence and your brokerage was on the other and there was a dollar in the middle. And what were y'all doing over that dollar? And everyone answers, we were fighting over the dollar, right? The agent's trying to maximize the dollar, the broker's trying to maximize the dollar from the agent. And the truth is at KW, it's fundamentally different. You are a partner. We are on the same side of the fence. We're trying to maximize the pie because that means more profit share to go around. And so I think one of the first things, Linda, is people have to look up and they have to take ownership of their position of being a stakeholder in this company. You have to think like you're an owner, even though you're not technically an owner. But once you start building your profit share, you are technically an owner. You have a profit stake in the success of our system.
Yeah. And you like to call it building a virtual office, right, Pres?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think about it. You know, we've talked before, Linda, I think this would be a great topic for a future episode. So I don't want to go too deep on it. However, when you think about, I know I've had conversations with some people who are like, man, I feel like I missed my opportunity at KW. I feel like I wish I could have opened a market center, which, by the way, first off, for the right people who develop the right skills, there are always opportunities inside of this company. So if you ever feel like that, I would encourage you to talk to enough people because that I've not found that to be true. There is always opportunity that presents itself.
Pick up the phone and call you and I.
That's right. That's right. We'll talk to you about opportunities. Now, here's the truth. Those opportunities don't always smell like the perfume aisle in Dillard's. That might smell a little bit more like the dog park manure. However, there's great opportunity in that to create something big. I mean, I watched Linda, Jim, and Myra, one of our awesome operators in our region, take one of our worst performing market centers and turn it into our best performing market center, and in a span of a short time. And it's because they had developed the skill set required to go do the thing. And so again, there's always opportunity inside of this company, but you're right. One of the things to think about is, have you thought about the fact that you can go build your own market center without all the risk of space and, you know, all the money, all the things that it takes to go launch a physical Keller Williams office? You can do that same thing by building your profit share, and think about it like you're building a virtual market center. It has
especially
it has all the rewards of doing that, right? Of doing it, minus a lot of the risks that come with owning a physical brokerage.
Yeah. Well, and even if you look at like expansion and stuff, Pres, people are having people all over the country like virtual market centers. Well, guess what? With the profit share sites, that's the same opportunity, probably even better, because you don't have to train all the people and do all the things and create the systems for the people. Those are built inside KW market centers. So I think it could be as big an opportunity. Well, it's certainly been as big an opportunity for me as doing any of the other options, because I have a whole lot less headache every time I bring on a person or whatever, because those systems are fixed, you're taken care of inside KW. All I got to do is be the attractor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Linda, in closing, I think I'm going to come to you and get your final closing thoughts. My final closing thoughts would be, understand. I love something that I've learned early on was, once you know something, I think this came from you, Linda. Most of my good stuff comes from Linda.
Most of what you said, I hope, came from me, Pres.
That's true. I've lived, with you and around you and near you for a long, long time. So I think most of the stuff either osmosis or taught. But one of my favorite things you say is that once you know something, there are certain things in life, once you know, you can't unknow.
Yeah.
And I hope today, if nothing else, you understand that we have a fundamental flaw in our model as real estate agents in our businesses. However, still a great opportunity. Doesn't mean we
Mhm.
shouldn't do it. It just means we have to go find other ways to build monthly recurring revenue. And profit share is a natural extent of what you're doing. It's not like building your real estate business and then going way on in a different direction to go open a restaurant. That's not what I'm talking about. Doing something that is in line with your North Star of the real estate industry. Profit share is something it's already in and around you. You might not just be seeing the opportunities or taking advantage of the path to do that. And to your point, Linda, like you mentioned, a profit share site might be an easy path for you to do that, to get more purposeful, to be able to put appointments on your calendar so that you maximize the time you have in the 24 hours that you're given.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, I think when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so we're going to keep beating this message at home. You and I both have a goal to make profit share a movement. And we're going to keep beating this drum. And I know from my own experience, I didn't get it right away. And I'm sure people were very frustrated that I was taking so long to understand the value of the gift of profit share. But I think, we're going to be here again next month talking about the same topic. And so I think when the people are ready, they'll step up and get the message. And I think once you do that, then it's really pretty simple. It's just focusing on the two ways to build your profit share. And I always say you should do both: existing agents or influential agents and profit share sites. So if you want to learn more about those, you can go to profitsharesites.com. We drop this podcast every single month on the 21st of the month, our favorite day of the month. And we would encourage you to help us make a movement out of profit share. Number one, change your own life with it, and then go change other people's lives.
That's right. As we always say in closing, right? Let's go build wealth and change lives.
Yep. Let's do it, Pres.
Awesome. All right, everyone. We'll see you on next month's episode. Linda, enjoy the amazing mountains.
I will. See you soon, Pres.
See ya.